4 new leaders are ready to write their own chapters in Naperville's history. These dynamic women all bring to their positions impressive experiences in business, education, and law. Naperville News Extra's Whitney Goodbread shares their stories.
For Karen Sullivan, Sarah Orleans, Raina Tamayo Calabrese, and Nikki Anderson, 2014 marks the beginning of the next steps in their careers, leading some of Naperville's most well-known organizations. In July, Karen Sullivan took the lead of Indian Prairie School District 204, an organization where she has worn a lot of hats during her more than 20-year career.
Good morning.
Starting off as a speech-language pathologist, Sullivan made the move to education back in 1995 as the first principal of Cowlishaw Elementary. A series of administrative positions followed until she left 204 in 2011 for Elmhurst.
Hi, how are you?
But her heart was always in 204, and she returned as Superintendent of Human Resources the following year. Sullivan feels her background has given her what it takes to lead the district in the future.
There isn't this year for someone to get to know the district, to get to know how Illinois funds schools, to get to know all those kinds of things. I've got that part down, so I think that that's a real positive. The other thing is I think I have a really diverse background, which I think is fairly unusual for superintendents.
After Kathy Burkett announced her retirement, the district hosted a nationwide search. The board wanted to be sure to get the best person for the job.
We owed it to our public to make sure that we were going through the process and doing all the right things. And so we enlisted the help of a search firm to do that. And through that process, we did find that Karen continued to rise to the top. And the fact that she was an internal candidate just was somewhat of a bonus.
Sullivan was named superintendent back in February and officially started in July. And now that the students are back in the classroom, she hopes to continue to raise the bar for District 204 kids.
What I really hope to try to do is talk to people about focusing on what matters. Really keying in on what makes the biggest difference for our students in terms of their achievement. What makes the biggest difference for our students in terms of just their whole development, because we're interested in more than just academic achievement, right? We're interested in making productive citizens that are going to, contribute.
Across town, the DuPage Children's Museum also embarked on a nationwide search to replace their retiring leader. Sue Broad led the museum for 22 years before announcing plans to retire in 2013. After months of looking, the museum named New Jersey native Sarah Orleans to the position in February. Orleans got her first major exposure to children's museums when she helped open the Garden State Discovery Museum. That time in her life is what she credits for sparking her passion of educating kids.
You could see that bringing that hands-on learning, creating environments where children kind of had these whole body experiences involved in whatever it was that they were experiencing and learning, was exciting, and where I knew that I had found the perfect place for myself.
Orleans' resume includes 20 years of experience in organizational leadership. Most recently, she led the Portland Children's Museum for 8 years, experience that during the search process caught the board's eye.
She knew how to run a large museum, and she helped grow it over time, which we also were really looking for somebody that would take this museum and really expand it for us.
After starting in February, Orleans has put many ideas into motion, including new ways to use technology in the museum, as well as a new exhibit coming this fall called XOXO, an exhibit on love and forgiveness.
There's a part of the exhibit where you pick up a telephone, and as you're talking in the telephone, you're getting this visual image in front of you that when you're talking loud and aggressive, a certain image comes in front of you. And as you're talking softly and gently to the other person, softer images show up on the screen.
Orleans said the museum's great reputation caught her attention, but it was the board and staff that solidified this was the place for her, an organization she could help continue to grow to educate many more children.
What excites me every day is this idea that what we know about children and what we know as having been children ourselves, where I learned the best and where children learn in the environments where they're hands-on.
Naperville's other major museum, Naper Settlement, took their time to find the right person to fill the shoes of Peggy Frank after her retirement in 2012. Naperville lawyer Macarena Tamayo Calabrese was hired earlier this summer and has been at work for almost 2 months now as president and CEO of Naper Settlement and the Naperville Heritage Society. Before taking this position, Tamayo Calabrese was the executive director of the National Association of Women Lawyers and led several departments at the American Bar Association in Chicago over 15 years.
What they're asking me is to do the big picture, is actually to grow an organization, and that's exactly the kind of thing that I have done in the past. I did it for the American Bar Association. I don't know what I can do here, but I really want to come and find out. I think this is part of the challenge. It's part of the fun.
During the year-and-a-half search for a successor, the committee was looking for someone who could build on past leaders and use their own passion to take the settlement to the next level.
We were hoping somebody would kind of step up and knock our socks off a little bit. We wanted somebody that was going to inspire us to get to that next level, and that's what we were looking for. We had a great history of leadership, and we wanted to continue that. We didn't want to lose anything, but we did want to gain some momentum.
Tamayo Calabrese hit the ground running and has many ideas on how to grow the organization, all of which stem back to the vision that the settlement tells stories with impact far beyond Naperville's borders. Stories she hopes to tell about the American dream through Naperville's eyes.
Whether it's law, or whether it's Naper Settlement, or whether it's museum work, my job is to tell a compelling story and to make that compelling story more known for the benefit of Naperville, and I think also for the benefit of our United States.
The Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce hit a rough patch last November when they mutually agreed not to renew the pending contract of then-President and CEO Mike Evans. After a little more than 2 months of reassessment and a nationwide search, the Chamber Board announced the hiring of Nikki Anderson, a longtime Naperville resident, Chamber member, and the first small business owner and woman to hold the position.
There's always pressure when you see a lot of turnover in a business, but you also need to have the confidence to know that, well, you know, that was then, this is now, onward and upward.
Officially starting in February, Anderson knew she wanted to focus on fundamentals, like building up relationships between members and her staff to help everyone get the most out of that relationship.
Even though I ran a health and fitness business, which you would say that has no correlation to the chamber world, it actually does. I don't want someone to be a paying member to the chamber and not engaged. That's not my ideal member. Just like a health club. I don't want somebody joining my health club and never showing up. That's not why I'm there. I'm there to make a difference.
When those who work directly with Anderson describe her, you hear the word passionate a lot.
What we found in Nikki was really stability, passion, and instant credibility.
The fact that Anderson is the first woman president is a milestone in the history of the chamber. But they say, above all, Anderson was just a great fit.
We were looking for the best leader, and the best leader was a woman in this case, and that's fantastic. And I think the business world is changing, and the chamber has to reflect that change.
In a community that is always growing and changing, these new female leaders are ready to leave their mark on both their respective organizations and the people they serve. I'm Whitney Goodbread for Naperville News Extra.